Heads up.
Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop. Hey,
all right, this is a follow-up on a story that we touched on yesterday. Betsy McCoy, who of course is the lady who actually read the Hillary care, and in doing so managed to get rid of it, thank God. Anyway, Betsy McCoy has weighed in on the battle about Airbnb and Uber. And, of course, Elizabeth Warren is involved. By the way, did you see Elizabeth Warren last night? I just missed the soundbite. I'm recording now, hoping that I can pick it up. Elizabeth Warren at the convention went after Donald Trump because Donald Trump said, if housing values drop, it'll be a good time to buy and I can make some money. And so there's Elizabeth Warren claiming that here's mean-spirited Donald Trump wanting to make money on the backs of the poor people in the 2008 collapse. The problem is the quote from Trump was in 2006. Anybody who buys real estate is going to look for real estate and buy it low and sell it high. That's what you do. You'd be crazy to do it otherwise, see? So there's Lizzie out there claiming that Trump was out there benefiting from the collapse of 2008 and how horrible it was. Well, first of all, A, it wasn't true. And second of all, guess who did? Her and her husband were all over the 2008 collapse, which, by the way, their policies actually caused. And they made millions of dollars buying houses that were abandoned and forfeited by people who had to take these loans and couldn't pay them back. And they made millions of dollars flipping them. There is no truth to this person or to anything that she says. If you think Hillary's a liar, you haven't met Elizabeth Warren yet. Liawatha. Yeah, the Cherokee. Sure. All right, here's the story. The battle over Airbnb is taking center stage now at the DNC convention. The fight is emblematic of the dispute between Republicans and Democrats over who should steer the economy. Government regulators on the one hand, or consumers and business innovators on the other. Democrats are attacking Airbnb and similar internet sites that enable people to earn cash renting their homes out. Senator Warren and several like-minded lawmakers are calling on the Federal Trade Commission to crack down on them. Why? Because they're successful? Yes. They're determined to regulate anything and everything. They claim to be for the little guy, but they're protecting a rigged economy that favors big hotel unions and big real estate. You know, to heck with the budget traveler who maybe needs a temporary place to stay for less than a pricey hotel, or say a home sharer who needs to make some extra cash. Airbnb is fighting back, however, running ads defending its service. In the meantime, get this, New York State Governor, this guy, Mr. Headcase, Andrew Cuomo is mulling over whether to sign a bill that would make it illegal for New Yorkers to advertise their apartments on these sites. What the hell business is that of government? That is heavy-handed. I mean, what? It's my apartment, damn it. If I want to rent it out to somebody, I will. Who the hell is Cuomo to tell me I can't? In California, Airbnb is being pummeled with local regulations in L.A., San Francisco, and Sacramento. Visitors to Disneyland use the short-term rentals until the city of Anaheim banned them early this year. And an attack on Airbnb, by the way, is an example of pro-regulation politicians depriving consumers of choices and impeding startup industries. In other words, folks, the economy is you. Pardon me, I just hit my microphone. The economy is you. The economy is not the government. This is the government trying to kill the economy. And by the way, if they don't do it, Hillary's taxes will. I'm surprised that this leaked out, to tell you the truth. I have a list of Hillary's taxes. Wait until you hear this. Wow. If this doesn't put the final stake into the heart of capitalism, I don't know what will. Anyway, back to the story. Fortunately, Donald Trump declared war on excessive regulation during his GOP presidential acceptance speech last week, calling regulation one of the greatest job killers of them all. Airbnb is now used by 34,000 towns and cities in 191 countries. In New York City, for example, it is heavily used by women over 60 who rent out their homes in order to make ends meet, allowing them to stay put after retirement or the death of a spouse. Democrats like Ms. Warren say Airbnb drives up rents. They argue that renters who can earn cash a few days a month on their place can manage to pay higher rents. Well, even if that was true, so what? Ms. Warren and other senators wrote to the FTC last week urging an investigation of Airbnb's impact on the cost of housing in our communities, quote unquote. Wow, the federal government has no business interfering with local housing prices. Read the Constitution, Liawatha. Nothing in there on that. And of course, then there's the New York Attorney General, Eric the Putz Schneiderman, who can't keep his weenie out of the punch bowl, parroting Ms. Warren's unsubstantiated argument about Airbnb pushing up rents. I don't even understand the economic mechanism for that to happen. But anyway, Mr. Eric the Putz has the authority under state law, unfortunately, to intervene, but common sense is another matter. Does he really want to tell an elderly lady that she can't rent her apartment out because New York's affordable housing shortage matters more than her need to make enough money to stay in her home? Mr. Eric the Putz even suggests that Airbnb brings in an influx of out-of-town visitors, upsetting the quiet of long-standing residential neighborhoods. Well, so much for the city that never sleeps. Yeah, we wouldn't want tourists to be coming in and spending money, would we, Putz? In a typical case of politicians targeting a beautifully disruptive industry to defend the status quo, overregulation is destroying growth in America by discouraging innovation, even startup companies. The White House conceded last week that growth for 2016 will drag on at an anemic 1.9%. That's less than half the rate during Reagan's presidency or Bill Clinton's best years with a Republican Senate and House, and well below the rate needed to keep America working again. This horrible news provoked not a murmur of concern from Democrats. Mr. Obama even doubled down on the defense of regulations last weekend with vague platitudes about protecting the public. That's right. You people would all be screwed if it wasn't for us. The gravest harm done by regulation is not time and money squandered on compliance, but rather the forfeited opportunities, companies that are never launched, technologies that are never invented, jobs that are never created, and products consumers will never see. You could call this economic abortion. Jobs that just were never born. They're good at this. Uber, the popular taxi alternative, narrowly escaped destruction at the hands of the taxi industry and its elected henchmen. Fortunately, Mr. Cuomo, unlike many Democrats, appreciates Uber as one of these great inventions in this quote-unquote new economy. Mr. Cuomo said, it's offering a great service for people and it's giving people jobs. Well, let's hope the governor takes the same enlightened approach to Airbnb. But it sure doesn't look like it. We'll be right back after this.